amazing quality. The camera work on this tour seems just particularly musical.
Yes.
The audio feed is spectacularly good. Somebody was complaining somewhere about not being able to hear O'Teal, but man, we got decent speakers here, and I have no trouble hearing O'Teal. It's wonderful. The spirit of the music is tremendous, and the quality of the broadcast is beyond reproach.
Yeah, and I've been tending toward headphones for very detailed listening, and also because I'm a courteous apartment tenant. don't want to get myself evicted by blasting this music as it deserves, but I'm hearing it in the phones and hearing every nuance. And I agree, the mix is fantastic, and the band is delivering music that you want the mix to be fantastic for, because you want to hear every marvelous little bit. We are here, we being Gary Lambert and David Gans, doing this thing every night of the tour at the behest and at the pleasure of nugs.net. And we love doing this. You may be watching this right now on the free preview of the second set that Nugs is offering. They offer a free preview of each set of each show. So those who are curious and wondering if this is worth dipping a toe into before taking the full plunge can check it out. Hear how the music is, and we give this little halftime shows a bit of lagniappe where we bring in a different guest. But Nugs.net is presenting every show of the tour in glorious HD and 4K video, the fantastic sound we were just talking about, and it also, we hope, will entice you to examine Nugs.net in general more clearly, because it's an amazing service devoted to one of the things we love most in life, live music.
Indeed. I just almost lost my set list. Let me run down the set list we just heard before it runs away from me altogether. Because if you're watching this as the free preview of set 2, you might want to know that if you sign up and buy the dang thing, you can watch set 2 live and then go back and watch set 1 almost immediately afterwards. And you also have 2 days to watch the whole thing all the way through a few more times if you're so inclined. Tonight's first set began with Hell in a Bucket. We heard Sugaree, Mississippi Half Step, Mr. Charlie, Friend of the Devil, and they always welcome Lost Sailor, Saint of Circumstance, and they close with Big Railroad Blues. Lost Sailor is one of those songs I was so happy when it came into existence, so sorry when it left the Grateful Dead's repertoire, and so delighted when it returned in recent years. And to hear that whole Lost Sailor, Saint of Circumstance thing is just a delight.
Yeah, and just the pacing of these sets, the interesting song juxtapositions. This is a band that's really been thinking about this music and figuring out new ways to permutate it and surprise themselves with it a little bit. And I really love that. That comes up in our conversation with Jeff Chimenti that you're going to see in a few minutes. That everyone is really on their game and on their toes, and you see it in the responsiveness. And you get to see it here on Nugs because they kind of invented this thing of streaming a whole tour's worth of concerts, and you not only can just go back and see the start of the show. If you get totally hooked, you can purchase the entire tour and go all the way back to the Forum in LA.
Gary, I'm going to interrupt you because I just got a signal about when the band's going to return. And given the length of time that we spent with Jeff Chimenti getting a really fabulous interview, I want to make sure we get it all on. So let's go directly to that now. I'm sure our boss, Brad, understands. We talked to Jeff Chimenti just a couple of days ago, and I think you'll appreciate this and enjoy it as much as we enjoyed doing it.
And we'll be back for the City Field shows and enjoy the rest of tonight. Enjoy the interview with Jeff and David. I'll see you soon.
Take care. Thank you. Thank you, Lonnie, too.
Well, if you've been following the Dead Co Tour, as we definitely have been doing here, there's been widespread agreement that everyone in the band is playing at the peak of their powers, and that is true for no one more than our guest. Please welcome our friend, Jeff Chimenti.
Hi, Jeff. Hi.
David.
Really,
We ran out of superlatives fairly early in the tour. You guys have just been blazing across this country, and I've just seriously, the music has just been so incredible. I could hardly be happier, and it sort of adds a little bittersweet overtone to the fact that this is the last Dead and Company tour.
Well, I mean, that's the music has been great, and you know, I don't think anybody's taking a different approach. Being the final tour or whatever, we always try, our hardest and damnedest to put it out there. But things have definitely been clicking, so it's take it for what it is, and
Yeah. Uh-oh.
uh-oh.
No, that's
okay.
good. That's fine. My cat pulled my computer down in the middle of an interview last week, so that's nothing.
We 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 love a good action sequence in our videos. Anyway,
It's true.
but yeah, Jeff, it really does feel like everyone is really in sync. The interrelationship between the players are really strong. The way people respond off each other's ideas, just that telepathy and that empathy that you look for in this music is really happening, and it looks like you're enjoying it a great deal.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's then it's obviously been growing over the years, and you learn people more and more as you go, even though you've known some of them for many, many years, but just it's nice to know that the magic, is always there to tap into, and just hopefully just keeps getting stronger as we're going.
It's just been amazing. I could hardly be more happy with the music you guys are making. It's just thrilling to see, and just the all of you are at the peak of your powers. Everybody's pulling in the same direction, and it feels like the happiest, sweetest, kindest Dead and Company tour of them all.
Well, I'll take your word on it.
One thing that I always look for in this music is for like everyone to be listening to one another, but also no one being afraid to assert a new idea, throwing it out there and seeing how the others respond. And it seems like you guys have a real capability for both surprising each other and responding to those surprises with another surprise. And Jeff, I got to say, there are a lot of places where you are initiating a lot of new ideas, leading the band into tunes with some piano variations with the different voicings, with playing a little theme that coalesces into a tune, and it feels like the other guys trust you completely to take that role as well.
And it's an honor to have that. I'm just putting, like, sometimes I'll just find the spot and like, we'll try a little something here, and they're responding, and it's the same thing with the other guys doing something too, but it's just just you put it out there and you try, and then you see what happens. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and then you move on or you stay there for a while.
Everybody is such a good listener, and as we all know, improvisational musicians, listening is as important as what you play, and responding and being generous with each other is key to making it work so smoothly.
That's the most important part.
Absolutely. Do you? I love the Nugsnet feed because we get to watch the hands on the instruments so much and the faces. Like the camera work has just been extra specially musical this tour, it seems. And I noticed. Do you only play like classic vintage instruments? You've got a Hammond organ, you've got a Fender Rhodes, you've got a grand piano. Do you play like any like synthesizers and stuff as well? Or are you mostly playing the traditional instruments?
Mostly everything's actual acoustic instruments, or vintage instruments or whatever. I mean, I will say that the piano is if you see in some of those in the Nug shots, you can see little speakers inside the top of the piano there, so it's actually a digital piano. But the only reason is that it makes life a lot easier for everybody else, rather than being one giant pickup.
Yes.
There's no strings, but there are hammers inside of it.
Wow, I had no idea. That's
Yeah,
amazing. It
Which
sounds great.
Well, I mean, it's just stereo out, as opposed to, like I said, having like 9 inputs, or and having pickups or microphones in there and cause feedback. And plus, you don't have to tune it.
Oh yeah, we know very well. We've heard many recordings of imperfectly mic'd pianos, so it's an
Yeah.
obvious important solution to it. But the music is great, the sound is great, everything coming off the stage. I mean, we're getting these incredible live mixes over the Nugs feed. Gary can attest to the amazingness of Derek's live mixes in the house. And presumably you guys can hear everything you need to on stage because the interactions are just magnificent.
Yeah, no, I think we got about the best stuff available to us to be able to hear each other. And then for myself personally, I usually just use one ear monitor, and then I keep an open ear, to the house, because I like to get a little. I want to hear the audience. I want to feel the energy that way and have the open air.
Yeah.
For me, if it's too inside, it's just too quick of reaction time from the instruments themselves, and then I feel closed off. And I just don't like that feeling. So Derek has been, I mean, always does great, but I just, he's get so many great comments on how the sound has been and over the years, and just, it's just, people are loving it. So hats off to him.
Yeah, I make a practice of when I go to some of the bigger shows, like in Virginia with that huge lawn, and at Wrigley, I went up to the third deck there. I like to check out the sound in all parts of the venue, and I'm always happy to report back to Derek how good it sounds everywhere, and he's always very satisfied to hear that.
That's very much considered in all placements and all that stuff, and that's all thought about. So I can't imagine what the stuff that he has to think about. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
I feel like, I got my one little job here.
Right. Yeah. Ironically, solving the acoustical problem of Barton Hall, given how legendary that venue is in Grateful Dead history, it also had a reputation as a terrible sounding place. And Derek had to do a lot of draperies and a lot of conditioning the building to really sound as great as it did on that night. And that was an incredible way. You didn't quite start the tour with that. You had played Jazz Fest, but Barton Hall really seemed like a incredible launching for this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it was part of the tour, even though it was just some days separated in between. But that was kind of an intense week, actually. Obviously we're us doing Jazz Fest for the first time, and and the cancellations from the years prior, and we were finally there. It just seemed like, okay, we got two shows. We can do this. But man, for me, it just like it was just kind of intense. I don't want to say like fresher, but it was just kind of like this is kind of a big to do.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Jeff Chimenti rather than the sound system. You've been doing amazing work with Wolf Bros as well, but I'm wondering what else you do in your musical life, and you're going to have a little more time on your hands with Dead and Company no longer touring. What else do you do in your musical life?
Yeah, I mean, it's just been weird since the whole COVID thing. I mean, and coming the re-entry back into it. So I was normally, keeping busy with, Steve Kimmock, doing side projects with him, some stuff with the Golden Gate Wingmen. That just hasn't happened lately, but hopefully we'll get back to that. Just kind of feeling it out, but I know the Wolf Brothers will probably be ramping up a bit more so I don't think Bob's really going to allow too much time on our hands.
Bobby's already made clear to me that he's got some big plans in the very near horizon right after this thing wraps up. But
as he told me, he says, I'm on a mission.
Oh, he is. My wife and I were watching the show last night, and we're thinking, this guy's 75 years old, and he's just at the top of his game. His output is insanely good these days.
It's unbelievable,
And
I'm 54. I'm going, Jesus, how am I going to do this?
And that's actually true of Mickey as well. Mickey's going to be 80 next year, and he seems to be on an incredible creative peak. And I attribute some of that to the fact that both those guys are inexhaustibly musically curious. But I also attribute to the fact that the new energy that you guys have brought. I mean, it's not so new with you and Jay, because you've been with Bobby for almost 30 years now. But having a different generation of players, and especially having John with his orientation toward blues, and R&B and soul, and having O'Teal with his incredible musical vocabulary. All of that informs what Dead and Company has become, and you hear it in the music, and you also see it in the way that the older guys respond to it. They want to be surprised, which is great. They're not like a band where, oh yeah, make it sound like we did in 1967. It's who are we in this moment?
Push it forward. That's what they're always after, and speaking of, I mean, obviously it's a unique package of characters in the band, and that's what I think what makes it work. But just, yes, back to the energy of Bob and Mickey. I mean, it's just like, that's a big inspiration, I know, for me, and I think the other fellas too, but just seeing how into it these guys are, it's like, it really, feeds the fire,
Yeah.
So it's, we're all bouncing off each other, but like I said, it's just, it's pretty special.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way each of you completes each other's musical thoughts is really, really fun, particularly you and John handing stuff back and forth. But then O'Teal will just play a whole note in the middle of this thing that's like not the specific note in that song, right? And just take a whole new musical, like a nice harmonic, new setting for it. And it's just a second going by, but it just illuminates things in a new way, and I love hearing that stuff.
Yeah, when he drops the reharmed notes, it opens up a whole nother space, and it's brilliant,
And there was just one particular moment last night. Sorry, Gary. There was one particular moment last night when things were moving back in the direction of Dark Star and everything thinned out. It was just you and a drum, I think. And you were playing, it felt the rhythmically it was Dark Star, but harmonically it was something else. And then the next bar was the same rhythm, but it was the Dark Star notes. It was just this perfect little transition that you managed back into Dark Star.
Well, I was actually
I love that
about
stuff.
that because it was damn it. Okay, sorry. Because we were coming out of space, and so if I recall, and then it was just like, we're finding, obviously, we needed to get back there, but we found a different rhythmic thing happening, maybe a little different, leading into it, and finally, but when the rhythmic thing was happening, it created a whole different vibe to Dark Star from the traditional, and it almost like, and I think Jay for a second started to take it back to the original groove of Dark Star, and Bob like turned around, he went like, no, keep going with the other thing, And as he told me on the side, he goes, we weren't living there anymore. So it's like, we're over here now, and it was really great. I had to give Bob kudos on that too.
That's great. And we had Don Was on one of our earlier, actually on our radio show. And he was talking about how Jay completely keeps him on his toes in Wolf Bros, because Jay will play a song slightly differently each night. He'll change the way he swings it, or he'll change the way the groove works. And so it keeps everybody creating in the moment. And one thing I have to talk about, because to me, it's really the example of everything I love about this band. You're taking songs that David and I and Lots of Dead has been listening to for 50 plus years. And suddenly you'll say, I've never heard that chord voicing in this song before. So it changes our understanding and our perception of it. And to me, the absolute pinnacle example of that lately has been Cumberland Blues, which the Grateful Dead play pretty much the same way, beautifully, for the whole 30-year run. And the successor bands tended to stick to the arrangement. But there came a point, Cumberland Blues got moved into the second set, which was new in itself. Then it got moved to after drums. And something happened to that tune where they opened it up and especially just let you run with it. And, you're playing these sort of very jazz-like voicings and block chords and driving the music in a whole different way. And I said to a friend, so this is what would have sounded like if Horace Silver had been in Merle Haggard and the Strangers.
Well, it may just be because I don't know any better.
We hope you never do that.
Okay, I'll stick with that.
And that reminds me of another question I have. Twice in the last week, Bobby started the wrong song at one point, and last night John started Eyes of the World in the wrong place, and I could swear I heard a voice in the it's a muted voice. Was somebody talking, saying something? Like, how would I have heard a voice saying something? I didn't understand it, but it seemed John seemed to hear somebody say, "No, no, no, not that." But do you know what I'm talking about?
You're looking at him.
You're the guy who told them wrong song.
Yeah.
Why did I hear your voice saying that? Did you say it over
Oh
the PA?
no, no, it's
Just some leakage.
So I did hear a human voice cautioning him. Oh, that's so good. And it was you?
yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad.
They,
Actually, I thought his reaction was pretty priceless when he put the guitar down. He was
yeah, that was hilarious. That was hilarious. Yeah, it was not a subtle reaction, which I really appreciated.
but that's the beauty of the genuineness of it.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
happened.
yeah,
I mean,
It was
sometimes
absolutely.
it was
that's
wow.
a certain thing where it's like, hey, we're going to like happened a few days ago where we were gonna input another song into the set because we were looking a little short, and then all of a sudden we just talked about it, and you went up there and Bob started it on the wrong song.
That was the Uncle John's Cumberland switcheroo. Yeah,
Right.
but it wound up working fine, and it was such genius to make the transition to Cumberland right after "How Does the Song Go," and then the
Right.
Cumberland like that I laughed out loud at that one.
I mean, what other band? It's not many bands. I don't think they can get away with that in front of 40,000 people or whatever.
Right.
We have been conditioned over the years to expect the unexpected and to wish for it, actually. So moments like that are precious because they indicate to us this truly is a real-time experience.
Yeah,
Even though it was a
absolutely.
misunderstanding over a pre-planned set list, it was still
Well,
a
but it was
real-time
very
experience.
last minute, kind of, if you want
Right.
to say, or at least on a situation like that. It was
Right. It was Sharpied in. It wasn't on the front. Yeah.
Thank you so much for solving that mystery for me. It's good to know. You're the guy keeping the set list honest.
well, sometimes I miss it too, where I'm like, where are we? It's like,
Well, that's
but
when you know.
I know you don't really want to hold a candle to it because sometimes it's just like it could be the audible call, it could be like move next one, so you just gotta be ready.
Hey, if the band isn't getting lost in the music a few times, you're not doing your job. So.
And so much of what happens is so perfectly telepathic up there that the occasional glitch just sort of helps keep it human.
I agree. And a lot of times you don't have to say anything. You just give a look, and or you just play one note or something, someone trigger something, it's like, oh yeah, okay.
Well, I really hate to say it, but we're running out of time here. We got another minute or so before we
Those
have
go
to
so
turn
fast.
it back to. It's always fun to talk with you, man.
It's great seeing you guys as well. And hopefully we'll get to see each other in person very soon all together.
Yeah, well, I'll be at City Field next, so I'll be looking for you there, Jeff. And I really can't say enough about what your contribution to this music has meant to us from your early days in Rat Dog and to today. And we look forward to what you're going to be doing next, man.
That was very kind of you and very honored to be a part of it. So
Much love from here, my brother. Thank you.
Safe
all right, guys,
travel.
thanks so much. Have a great rest of the day.
Thanks.
Delilah was a woman, she was fine and fair. Knew she had good looks, got no cold black hair. Delilah, she gained old Samson's mind. When first he saw this woman, loaded up, leave his mind. Delilah, she climbed up on old Samson's knee. Said, tell me where your strength lies, if you please. Spoke so kind, God, no, talk so Sam said, love, you get off my hair. You can shave my head, clean as my hand. My strength become natural as any old man. If I had my way, if I had my way, if I had my way, I would tear this old building down. Mount Simpson, oh, Miss Bird, he was the strongest man that ever have lived on earth. One day while Simpson was walking along, looked down on the ground, he saw an old jawbone. Stretched out his arm, and he broke like a thread. When he got to move, then 10,000 was dead. And if I had something